welcome back to Food Prep Guide. We have another dehydrating project for you today. We are going to be making mushroom powder by dehydrating mushrooms. Dehydrated mushrooms are extremely useful. Mushroom powder is very useful, but we are going to be specifically making mushroom powder for the purpose of making our own homemade beef bouillon, homemade beef broth powder. If you have been wanting to get a very clean version of beef broth powder like I have been wanting to do, you're gonna want mushroom powder. It really adds a very unique flavor that we can't really get a whole lot of other places other than mushroom, to add that kind of umami flavor to the beef broth powder, beef bouillon, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to be doing that today in preparation for a future video where we will make our own chicken broth powders and beef broth powders. Let's go ahead and get started. So the type of mushroom isn't super duper important, but I'll go ahead and show you what I got. I just simply got the white plain old mushrooms because they had a couple of containers that were discounted. We don't currently grow our own mushrooms, but we are hoping to change that in the future. In case you don't know, mushrooms are, you inoculate a wooden log with them or like a pile of wood chips, and you inoculate them with these mushroom spores, and that's how they grow. So we're hopefully going to be working that into our new garden, but for now I just look for boxes that are about to be going out of date, about to expire. Sorry, I'm having a hard time thinking through what I'm trying to say, but you can save a good bit of money that way. So to make mushroom powder, we just need to dehydrate mushrooms. Now you can obviously slice these. You can do them whole. I don't really recommend doing them whole because you're going to be risking making the outside of the mushroom hard while the inside still has a little bit of moisture. So I do recommend slicing or dicing your mushrooms. When we are making mushroom powder, the size doesn't matter because we're going to be powdering it anyway, right? But obviously the smaller the cut, the quicker it will dehydrate. So just like with anything else, you want one single layer on your trays. You don't want them piled up on top of each other, just for good airflow. I could probably get all of this on 2 trays, but I mean, why try to pile it up on top of each other? So I'm going to go ahead and kind of stretch it out onto 3 trays. There's tray number 1. I have the Excalibur 5-tray dehydrator. I've had it for more than a decade and I absolutely love it. I've never had an issue with it. It is kind of pricey, but again, I've had it for a decade with absolutely no issues. So it was well worth the cost. Kosori, if you're new to dehydrating or want to get a dehydrator, here's like a big chunk. I'm just going to cut that in half because it's kind of bigger chunks than all the others. The most important thing with dehydrating is trying to do uniform cuts. I'm not stressed about it. I'm not going to sit there and very finely measure each little piece and make sure it's all the same amount, but just in general, if I have a big chunk that's so much bigger than all the other ones like this, just break that up. But anyway, if you are new to dehydrating and need a dehydrator, Kosori, available on Amazon, has a few budget models that are made of stainless steel, and they seem extremely high quality. I don't own one because I've been extremely happy with my Excalibur, so I've had no reason to own one, but I have heard many good things about it. I'll link the Excalibur and the Kosori below. And we're going to dehydrate this like we do all of our non-meats at 125 degrees Fahrenheit. If your dehydrator does not have an actual temperature setting, then you're going to want to put it low to medium. Low is going to be probably around 95 to 100 degrees. Medium is going to be 110 to 130-ish, and that's where you want to be. High is going to be anything above 135. So lowish, medium, or 125 degrees Fahrenheit. As with any dehydrating projects, we will simply just go until it's done. There's no preset time. I will check it, it's about 12:15. I will check it around 8 p.m. I like to check it around the 8-hour mark. That is a general rule of thumb that I try to follow, is to check it at 8 hours. It doesn't mean that it's going to be done at 8 hours. I just like to check it at the 8-hour mark, and I will let you know when we come back exactly how long it took. Okay, it is the next day, and these mushrooms took about 10.5 hours to be done, which is expected. They're pretty high in water content. So the way that you know mushrooms are dry is they crumble very, very easily in your hand. They powder very easily with just your fingers, which is going to come really in handy whenever we turn it into a powder. You will see in just a minute that I'm going to be using a special Vitamix dry mix container. But because this powders so easily, you can absolutely do this in just a regular blender or food processor, and then go through it with a spoon and just crush it with a spoon to get that really fine blend if you don't have something like the Vitamix container. So here's that Vitamix. It's the dry container, which is used for grains. It has a special blade in it that sucks the solids down and gets them very ground up, very fine, like a food mill. So this is like an alternative to a grain mill, not food mill, a grain mill. Okay, so we are just going to pour in our mushrooms and blend. That's it. Before I had this, I did what I mentioned earlier. I would put it in a food processor, and if it would crush really easily with a spoon, great. If it wouldn't, I would actually finish it off in a coffee grinder. I had a coffee grinder especially dedicated to dehydrating food because the container often takes on the scent of the food that you're grinding up, and I knew that my husband wouldn't appreciate that being infused into his coffee. But coffee grinder works really well as a dehydrated food grinder. This is going to make a ridiculously small amount of powder, so if you're wanting to make a lot at one time, definitely get more than I did. I just need enough to make my beef broth bouillon substitute. I'm trying to prevent a huge puff of powder as soon as I open this container, because I know that's what it's going to do. Okay, let's get our jar ready and our funnel. Get that time to settle down. Okay. Still got a puff. You see how fine that is? I love this container. If you already have a Vitamix, this container is awesome. It greatly expands what you can do with your Vitamix. I have absolutely milled wheat berries into flour using this container. And this is how I powder all of my dehydrated foods. What's that? About quarter cup? From, let's see, was that, I think it's 2 12-ounce containers. Was that 24 ounces? Something like that, maybe 10 ounces, 24 ounces, down to about a quarter cup. Thankfully, we do not need a ton to make our own beef broth powder. So stay tuned. We will be making chicken broth powder and beef broth powder together, probably in one video, and I will show you how to make that soon. The giveaway for the Mix and Jars Cookbook Volume 2 is open. If you have not entered that, go ahead and enter that in the description box below. You'll see the link for it will say enter the giveaway, or you can comment Mix and Jars and I will send you the link directly to your comment if you have trouble finding that in the description box. That's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.